Hello everyone, and welcome to Greece. We flew to Greece at the very beginning of summer, in June. In the country we flew from, summer had not yet started, but when we arrived in Greece, summer was already in full swing. We were a little shocked when we got off the plane. It was so hot outside. We flew with Wizz Air from Vilnius Airport to Athens Airport. The flight took less than 3 hours. Athens Airport is outside the city. We used the metro to get to the city center. Metro runs directly from the airport to the city center. To get to the center we use the metro line M3. One-way ticket for one person is €10. When we get to the center, we go to our apartments. To see Athens, I recommend walking or using public transport. A car will be a burden here, because in Athens it is difficult to find a place to leave the car and the traffic is very intense with heavy traffic jams. Look for accommodation in the center of the Athens city. From there you will be able to reach all the attractions on foot and it will not take much time. The attractions are very close to each other, and city center. What is Athens famous for? Athens is the center of ancient Greek civilization and the birthplace of democracy. To travelers, Athens is most famous for its archaeological ruins, especially the Acropolis complex, which includes the Parthenon, the ancient and Roman Agorus, Hadrian's library, the Temple of Olympian Zeus, and the Panathenaic Olympic Stadium. Athens is also known for its excellent museums, restaurants, and cultural events. But one of the best things to do in Athens is to just wander the streets and squares, enjoying the vibrant scene. Once we have moved into the accommodation, we go on a first date with the city of Athens. The feelings are twofold. On the one hand, it is cool to see unusual views and streets for Europe, but on the other hand, we are a little disappointed because we thought it would be a little better. Everything was old and damaged. Many shops were closed and abandoned. Although the neighborhood was clean, but the infrastructure was morally outdated. After visiting the quieter streets, we are going to the streets more popular with tourists. Walking through the small streets, we noticed a very beautiful terrace. It was dinner time and the waiter invited us inside. The terrace was beautifully arranged with lots of plants. During the dinner, local musicians took care of the mood. Cheers! The menu prices were not too high. The four of us paid about €40 for the whole dinner. I recommend this restaurant. The food was tasty and well cooked. The waiters were nice and helpful. We used the time of the next days to see the geographical excavations of Athens. You could even say that all of Athens is like a big museum. Sights are at every step. The first attraction is of course the Acropolis complex. Needless to say, this is the most famous site in the whole world. The sacred rock, the Acropolis of Athens, is thought to be the symbol of the ancient Greek culture. It is also considered to be one of the most significant ancient monuments in Europe. Both the Acropolis and the Parthenon, the imposing temple that was dedicated to the goddess Athena, are visible from almost every part of Athens. Acropolis was a fortress and military base during the Neolithic period, due to its position which offers a great view of the land and the sea. During the Mycenaean times, it became a religious center, dedicated to the worship of the goddess Athena. It is said that the place was declared a province only to the gods by an oracle, and therefore stopped being inhabited by the people. The three temples of major importance, the Parthenon, the Erechtheion and the Temple of Nike, were erected during the classical period on the remains of earlier temples. All three of them are dedicated to different aspects of the goddess Athena. The Persians destroyed some parts of the Acropolis during the Battle of Salamina in 480 before Christ. Being next to the Acropolis, it felt impressive. Despite the scaffolding that you usually cannot see in the advertising brochures and the renovations that took place all around the territory, the Acropolis is definitely worth a visit. Athens Acropolis tickets with Parthenon entry costs €22 per person, and is worth it. If you have come to see also other sites in Athens, I recommend taking the Athens Pass to Acropolis and 6 sites for only €36. This ticket includes 6 sites that are also worth visiting. The ticket can be purchased at the entrance of the Acropolis. We purchased the Athens Pass to Acropolis and 6 sites entrance ticket. It took us 2 days to see all 6 sites. Considering that in summer it is very hot in Athens, but unbearable in the sun, I recommend that you find a hat before you go explore and take enough drinking water with you. Fun fact: the ancient Olympic Games were never actually held in Athens. Athens was the birthplace of the modern Olympic Games in 1896. However, the ancient Olympics were never actually held in the Greek capital. Sustainable travel tip. Athens is a walkable city and its historic center is easy to navigate, while public transport is affordable. Stroll along the pedestrianized Grand Promenade, created as part of city refurbishment ahead of the Athens 2004 Olympic Games. It snakes around the Acropolis and links key archaeological sites. The gleaming metro is fast and efficient. Acropolis and Syntagma stations double as museums, with ancient artifacts and a Byzantine cemetery among the finds revealed during excavation on display. What to eat? The ubiquitous souvlaki has undergone a revamp. Demand for the wallet-friendly local staple is driving competition to create the best version of the pita wrap, including vegetarian and premium meat options. Athens' dining scene is thriving, with talented young chefs opening the city's most intriguing restaurants and crafting imaginative cuisine with quality produce sourced from throughout the country and reinventing classic Greek dishes. On Athens' outskirts, new generation vintners are producing exquisite wine with indigenous varietals such as Savidiano. Souvenir to take home. Greek creative studios have made great strides, with initiatives like Greek Brand New encouraging new talent to reimagine the souvenir. Cool and oft-practical memorabilia inspired by Greek landscapes, colors, characters and animals can be found in selected stores. Think t-shirts emblazoned with the now classic motto "Ik bin ein Athener," Athens needs love, and totes made with decommissioned sails. Foodies can snap up regional culinary delicacies like Kazani saffron and Chios mastiha and support small-scale producers. When to go? Peak season runs from April to mid-October, however, growing demand, with some 5 million visitors annually, has seen planes and hotels fill up earlier and later each year. Summer months are best avoided as temperatures can regularly reach between 86 and 95 degrees, particularly in July and August. Autumn and winter are ideal mild weather seasons to comfortably pound the pavements and take in the city's wealth of ancient sites and museums, avoiding queues. The Temple of Olympian Zeus in Athens, also known as the Olympieion, was built over several centuries starting in 174 before the Common Era and only finally completed by Roman Emperor Hadrian in 131 Common Era. Its unusually tall columns and ambitious layout made the temple one of the largest ever built in the ancient world. This beautiful oasis offers a soothing respite of greenery from the big city with many benches for picnicking, cafes, duck ponds and a small zoo. We are tired from walking in the hot rays of the sun and decide to take a ride on the road train. The trip was not expensive. It cost €5 for one person. It made a small circle around the center of Athens and took about 40 minutes. It gave an opportunity to see Athens from a different point of view. If you also want to ride the road train, it starts its journey from Plataea Syntagmatos. Cerameicus is one of the most important but least visited archaeological sites in Athens. This was actually the cemetery of ancient Athens and was continuously in use from the 9th century before Christ until the Roman times. The area took its name from keramos, which means pottery in Greek, from the numerous pottery workshops that existed in the area before it was turned into a cemetery. Another explanation is that the area took its name from the local hero Keramos, son of Dionysus and Ariadne. This is our last day in Athens. We really liked the city and it was worth every minute we spent exploring it. When planning your trip to Athens, I recommend planning at least 3 days or more, otherwise you won't have enough time to see everything around. We spent about 4 days in Athens and now planning to go deeper in Greece, to a town called Loutraki. For that we will need a car to go to the city. We will rent a car at a local car rental point near Athens airport. We have finally reached the sea. In Athens we lived in the city center and it was not easy to get to the sea, but now we live right by the sea. This is the city where we bought our accommodation and will spend about 8 days. This city is not too big and surprisingly not overcrowded with tourists. The city is approximately 1 hour's drive from Athens by car. Not far from this city is the famous Corinth Canal, which is currently under renovation. After we have looked around the city and seen the places where we will go for dinner, we are going to one of the attractions, Corinth Canal. This is the beginning of the Corinth Canal. There is a drawbridge here that connects two neighboring cities, Loutraki and Corinth. One of the most amazing feats of engineering in Greece is the Corinth Canal. It took centuries to build and was started by Nero, the ancient Roman emperor, before finally being finished under the French as late as the 19th century. The canal is sliced into a section of rock and spans 6 kilometers with sides that soar up to 90 meters. One of the other main attractions on the canal is the Zulu bungee jump, which is certainly not for those who don't have a head for heights, but is also an amazing way to take in all the majesty of the canal. The Corinth Canal in Greece had been closed to traffic from 2021, around February 2021, following landslides that had made it impossible to navigate. However, it is going to reopen for vessels in July, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of the country, named CAP, informed on Wednesday. Driving to the next point of interest, we noticed a large mountain with a castle on top. Of course, we cannot miss such a climb. The climb turned out to be quite difficult. It was very hot outside and we spent practically the entire time in the sun. But when we got to the top, the view was fabulous. Corinth was the Acropolis of ancient Corinth, located on a monolithic rock, at the foot of which lies the ancient city. It existed as a fortress from ancient times until the beginning of the 19th century. Favorable terrain created an advantageous position for defense. In addition, the defenders had access to a source of drinking water. The fortress controlled the Straits of Corinth and was the last obstacle on the way from the north to the Peloponnese. After the hot climb, we go to cool down. Is it possible to cool off better than in a spring that flows from inside the mountain? To find this place, you have to go from the public beach of Lautera Elenis along a small path that leads directly along the beach in a northerly direction. Walking along the sea, you cannot pass this place. This beach looked epic. The water in the spring was very cooling, but as we swam deeper into the sea it remained warm. When we have enjoyed one cool beach, of course we go to the next one. When we had a good swim on the way to the apartments, we stopped at a beautiful mountain monastery. The temple had a stunning view. There were mountains all around. The monastery of St. Potapios, also Agios Potapios, is a monastery for women located 14 kilometers from Loutraki, Greece at an elevation of some 700 meters on the Cerameicus mountains. The monastery is within the jurisdiction of the metropolis of Corinthos of the Church of Greece. The plan for the next day was to visit one of the most beautiful beaches I have ever been to. The beach was quite far from populated areas. To get there you had to drive small local roads without a surface. When we finally reached the place marked on the map, a great view opened up in our eyes. You could see the secret beach in all its glory. We still have to get to it, because we are on the hill, but the beach is below. Climbing down a steep cliff was like an unforgettable experience. It was hard to get down, but we had to do it. We couldn't go home without enjoying the magic of this beach. When we got down, all we had to do was take the most comfortable stone and enjoy the magic of the beach. We were the only ones on this beach. It was amazing. The water was fabulously warm and clear. I definitely recommend that you also come here when you visit Greece. A small storm is approaching and we had to go hide in a cave, but it was a good experience. We have thoroughly enjoyed the secret beach and it's time to go back to the car, which unfortunately is waiting for us up the hill. The climb up turned out to be easier than the way down. When we reached the top of the hill, we took one last look at the beautiful beach and said goodbye to it. The journey back home took about 40 minutes. When we returned to our hometown, I decided to show you how it looks from a bird's eye view. The view was fabulous.
I'm the one who lit the flame. I'm the one who takes the blame. I'm the one who paves the way. Down, down. Down, down.
Of course, this is not the end of our trip, on the contrary, it just keeps getting better. We go further and see the beautiful Greek waterfalls with natural baths. A small but beautiful waterfall of Attica that, although the nature around him suffered huge destruction, remains a perfect refuge for several species of fauna. The stream of Valinari is one of the last wild ravines near Athens. It is also known as Lycorima, Vathirima, and Grand Stream. The Valinari's name assigned to the forest of oaks that once dominated the surrounding hills. Let's go to the countryside. Let's appreciate their beauty. Of course, the view from above is much better. While walking around the area, we came across an interesting trail. This trail took us to a very beautiful place. The feelings were like we was in the jungle. Trees all around and a super beautiful waterfall with natural baths in the end. Amazing. Yes, the water here was icy. The cold water didn't stop us from swimming though. It was very hot outside and the water temperature was just in time to cool off. This is one of the most beautiful waterfalls with a mini canyon that I have ever visited. And we were the only ones here too. It was cool. A town with the name Nafplio. One of the most beautiful towns in the area of Argolis, in eastern Peloponnese, as well as one of the most romantic cities all over Greece. Nafplio was the first capital of the newly born Greek state between 1823 and 1834. According to mythology, the town was founded by Nafplios, the son of god Poseidon and the daughter of Danaus, Danaida, and Ammon. The town's history traces back to the prehistoric era when soldiers from here participated in the Argonautic expedition and the Trojan War alike. The town declined during the Roman times and flourished again during the Byzantine times. Frankish, Venetian and Turkish conquerors left their mark in the town and strongly influenced its culture, architecture and traditions during the centuries. Ancient walls, medieval castles, monuments and statues, Ottoman fountains and Venetian or neoclassical buildings mesmerize the visitor with their unique architecture and beauty. While you are here, follow a dream trail to discover Nafplio's precious gems starting from the medieval old town, the narrow cobblestone alleys, the neoclassical well-preserved mansions with the bougainvillea trees adorning their yards and balconies and the Turkish fountains. In the very heart of the city stands the Italianate Syntagma Square where you can admire important historic buildings and monuments. Two Turkish mosques, the first used to house the first mutual learning school and now operates as a cinema/theater, whereas the second was home to the first Greek parliament, the archaeological museum with important artifacts from the prehistoric and Mycenaean era and the municipal gallery are among the buildings that stand out. Very close to the modern city stand the Church of Agios Spiridonis, in front of which Governor Ioannis Kapodistrias was assassinated, and the Church of Agios Georgios boasting important murals such as a copy of the famous Leonardo da Vinci work The Secret Dinner. In general, this trip was eventful and filled with cool emotions. I definitely recommend you visit these attractions. Our journey is over. Thanks for watching. Follow my channel if you like what I do.